and welcome back to my channel. So today I've done a makeup tutorial for you on this On Cloud 9 Starry Sky kind of makeup look. I first saw this look done by Nikki Tutorials, but since then I have seen it a lot on Instagram and YouTube as well, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. So creative and something so different, so I really wanted to give it a go myself. Yeah, so if you want to learn how to do it and you like the look, then check out my video and let me know what you think. Enjoy! Okay, so I've already gone ahead and primed, concealed and set my eyes and also done my eyebrows. I'm going to start off with the shade Gonzo from the Urban Decay Electric palette and also my fluffy eyeshadow brush. I'm just going to take this shade and pack it right into my outer corner of my eyelid there. Very pigmented. Look how pigmented that color is. Okay, so just taking this shade in that outer corner and then dragging it through the crease and in little circular sweeping motions, inwards, upwards and outwards. For this look I want the colour to be really bright, so I just need to keep dipping your brush back into the palette and building up the colour on your eye there. And now going in with the larger fluffy blending brush, just taking this over the edge of the Gonzo shade that we just applied, just taking it in a sideways sweeping motion ever so lightly on your eye. Don't press too hard, just basically feather it. Beautiful. And doing the same to the other side there, just packing that colour in, blending it through the crease and upwards and outwards. The trick too is when you do fill up your brush with the eyeshadow colour, you pack the colour into the crease and then what's left over of the colour on your brush is what you blend upwards, towards your brow bone. And now just going back in with my blending brush over the edges of that colour I just applied and blending it upwards. And now going in with the shade Chaos from the Urban Decay Electric palette, just taking that colour on my eyeshadow brush and packing that into the outer corner of my eyelid there, just packing it right into that outer corner and in the crease area and lightly blending it upwards, but not as high as I took the original blue blending shade. And now going back in and blending that colour out with my clean blending brush. And of course doing the same to the other side, applying that darker blue shade into the crease and outer corner and blending upwards a little bit. And back to our clean blending brush and blending it out. Now I'm taking the shade Noir from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette and just packing this shade ever so carefully into my outer corner of my eyelid there. Black is a very delicate colour to work with because it's so dark. If you get it in the wrong spot or you apply too much, it's very hard to get rid of it, so you need to work carefully with this colour. But just keep packing it very compact in that outer corner. Yep, and the same on the other side as well. We're not going to blend this shade too much with our blending brush, we're just going to use the eyeshadow brush to take control here. Now going over to what's left of my INGLOT eyeshadow in the shade 395 and also a square kind of fluffy brush, just taking this shade on my brow bone as my highlighting shade, my favourite shade of all time. And then of course taking my clean blending brush to go in between the highlighting shade I just applied and the coloured shades to blend it all together beautifully. Now taking my Crayola concealer in the shade SYH and also a flat little concealing brush, I'm going to take this shade, this concealer, sorry, and use it to carve out my clouds on my eyes. So basically just carving out little half circles. You want to make sure you're taking the tip of the cloud, like the top of the clouds, above your crease line. It needs to definitely go above your crease line to have the proper effect. And then going ahead and filling in the clouds, taking the most amount of product in the inner corner and center of your eyelid, and then tapping out the product towards the edge of the eye just so it can blend out into the eyeshadow. Okay, so going ahead and carving out our clouds on the other eye, still doing those little half circles and making sure to keep them above our crease line. This is definitely a time-consuming step. You just have to have a lot of patience and work with it. You want to make sure those lines are smooth. But yeah, now going ahead and filling in this cloud as well as I did on the other eye. Most amount of product in the center and inner corner, and then tapping it out on the edge. Now I'm going to take the Crayola translucent powder, and I'm going to take a flat brush like this one. Dip this into the powder, and then I'm going to press it into my clouds there just to set them so the concealer doesn't crease on my eyelids. You always have to set concealer, always have to set a wet product with a dry product so it doesn't crease. And we're looking very attractive so far. So now just taking a clean blending brush and just dusting off all that excess powder from under our eyes, and also all the setting powder from the clouds that we just set. Yep, dust that all off. Just pressing some eyeshadow back into those corners there to get rid of the setting powder. Now going in with the shade Tempera from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette, taking that flat brush I just used again and pressing this shade into the clouds. Now I'm going to go back to the shade Gonzo and apply that in kind of a diagonal angle across my eyelid just there, and the same on the other eye. And then back to the shade Chaos and apply that a little lower in the same diagonal angle. And now going back to the shade Noir and pressing that in even lower than the first two shades I just pressed, just keeping it compact in those outer corners there. The purpose of all of like reapplying these shades is just to make sure everything is blending into each other and looks blended. And now going back with a clean brush and just tapping over those shades just to really blend it all in. And now going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Waterproof Creme Color in the shade Jet, and also my angular eyeliner brush. Just taking this eyeliner over along the sticky tape line, angling it down towards the center of my eyelid there, and then also joining it up from the inner corner just to create a beautiful straight line which will result in a perfect wing. Now we rip off that sticky tape and voila! Beautiful line. And of course following the same steps for the other eye. Now I'm taking my little compact bullet brush. I'm going to take this with the shade Gonzo and take that under my eye there, just lining under my waterline. Same on the other eye. And then going in with the shade Chaos to deepen up that colour, basically following the same steps that we did on the top of our eyes for underneath our eyes. And now taking the shade Noir and keeping this very compact right along our eyelash line there. This just makes everything look really gradient and deep. And now I'm just taking a black MAC eyeliner just along my waterline to make sure everything looks very dark and smoky. Just taking the INGLOT eyeshadow shade 395 on my bullet brush and using that to highlight my inner corners, And now going in with the Lights Camera Lashes mascara by Tarte and applying that to my eyelashes. And now I'm going in with the NYX liquid eyeliners in the shade White and the shade Glam. I'm just taking the white shade here and flicking it in 4 little directions to make my stars. I really don't want my stars to look like they've been drawn, so that's why I'm doing the flicking motions. It gives it a more sparkly kind of look, especially from a distance. Now I'm just taking this tiny little detailing brush and a little bit of really light Crayola concealer. I'm just going to use this to mark out some little dots which will act as like miniature stars, or like faraway stars. And now going back in with my white eyeliner just to go over those dots and make them pop. Now I'm just taking my flat concealing brush and the Crayola concealers in the shade RN1 and RN2 from my Crayola concealer wheel, just mixing these 2 shades together and taking them all over any red areas. My nose is always very pink, so I always take the concealer over my nose, in my little nose creases and on my chin. Now going into the blending brush and buffing all of that out. So today I'm going in with the Dior Star Foundation in the shade 040 and also a stippling brush. Just taking this and applying the foundation to one side of my face, one side of my nose, my whole cheek, along my jawline. And I'm also going to buff this foundation down, like down my jawline and down my neck a little bit, just to make sure it blends into the color of my skin and my body. Now going along with my wet beauty blender and pressing this foundation into my skin just to create that beautiful airbrushed finish. And of course following the same steps for the other side, applying the foundation, blending it down the neck and buffing it in with the beauty blender. And not forgetting about the forehead, taking the foundation through and blending it through with the beauty blender. Alrighty, so now going in with my Mirror Nest concealer stick in the shade Barely Beige. Just painting this on my face underneath my eye area in a kind of triangle sort of shape. I'm going to also take this down the center of my nose, on my chin, center of my forehead and on either side of my lips. I'm just using this as a cream highlighter to accentuate the high points of my face. Also now taking my wet beauty blender and dabbing this into the product, just really buffing it out. I want it to blend into the foundation. We obviously don't want any harsh lines, so you really need to work with it and blend it all out. So once I'm done with the blending, I'm going to dab my beauty blender into the Crayola and translucent powder, and I'm just going to press this right along my under eye area. This just makes sure that there's no creasing under there, especially because there's quite a bit of product like foundation and cream contour. It can get quite thick and crease up. So this step is really important for making sure that doesn't happen. After we've done that, we can just take a normal fluffy brush and dip it into the Crayola and translucent powder and just press that through the rest of our face. We don't need to use as much product as we used under our eyes there. And now just going in with my Mink 3D hair eyelashes in the style number 12. I've pre-glued these and now I'm just applying them to my eyes. For this foundation, because it's quite thick and I've also used cream highlighter, I do want to let my face sit for a bit with the setting powder on it just to make sure it sets and there will be no creasing later on. Now that my eyelashes are on, I'm just going back to that big fluffy brush and dusting off all the setting powder. Now I'm going in with the shades Lucid and Lyric from the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. Just taking my big fluffy brush and pressing these 2 shades together under my eye area there just to brighten it all up. I also press these shades into the high points of my face, like my tip of my nose, chin and center of my forehead there. Now I'm going in with the shade Sombre from the same palette, just taking a smaller fluffy brush and applying this shade to the hollows of my cheeks there, just taking it about halfway down my face, not too close to my mouth because I don't want to look like I have a beard. But yeah, just softly applying it to those hollows to create the contour. Also taking the same shade around the edge of my forehead very lightly, and also with a smaller blending brush from earlier, I'm just going to take the shade down the sides of my nose and on either side of the tip of my nose, just to make my nose look a little more small. And now I'm taking the darker shade called Shadow Play, which is from the same palette, just taking this in the hollows of my cheeks as well. This is just going to deepen the contour. Yeah, just take it in very lightly, taking it halfway down the cheek once again and blending it upwards. Now I'm going in with the shade Pink Heart, which is from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Moonchild highlighting palette. Just taking this over my cheekbones with my big fluffy brush. Beautiful. And as always, I always take my highlighter over the tip of my nose, over my cupid's bow, and also over the temples of my forehead. Might as well apply it to my whole face because I just love it. And now going in with the shade Amaretto from the Becca and Jaclyn Hill contour palette, just smiling and taking this shade over the apples of my cheeks there. Alrighty, so now taking the Kylie lip kit in the shade True Brown K, first going in with the lip liner and just lining my lips, starting off with my cupid's bow and then taking it down to the outer corners of my mouth. This lip liner was so creamy, it was unbelievable. It was almost sliding around on my face. I had to be so careful. And I will also add, this is my first time using any Kylie Jenner makeup product. I'd never used a lip kit before and I do love it. Once it's all set and dried, it really does feel like there's nothing on your lips. It is such a light product, absolutely beautiful. And we are all done. Thank you so much for joining me once again in today's tutorial, guys. I do hope you loved my version of this look that has been going around lately. If you did, then please don't be afraid to like, share and subscribe. And also, once again, I will be leaving a full list of products I used in the video today in the description bar below, along with a full list of my social media links. I also have a Snapchat account now, so if you do want to follow me on that, it'll be a great chance to get to know each other and, yeah, keep up with my everyday makeup routines. Oh, rude. Anyway, thank you for watching. I love you all and I will see you in my next video.